Hello, it is Robey coming to you on Tuesday. Let's see, what is this? This is the 15th. And happy holidays to each and every one of you. I'm glad for those who are out there that will be listening over the period of time. We do a broadcast of this on YouTube at Compass X. Go there, Compass X, L.S.G on YouTube, and you can also see it there. But I am Robey Hartnett. I come normally it's Monday and Friday at 1 o'clock, but some of the emails that I had received from everyone said, could we do Tuesday, because that Monday you're pretty busy at your work, and you may not always have the chance to jump on with me on Monday. I have had some requests to through my emails to also do to think about doing an evening time after 6 o'clock, when some people who are still working, who are lucky to still be working, are at home and they're winding down and they'd like to hear some of the information. But I always do it on Monday and Fridays, just because that's a convenient time for me. But in any case, we're switching from Monday to Tuesday at 1 o'clock, because that's generally a lunch break for those who can do it. And also I can record it and have it up for the week. So happy holidays to you. I hope you had a fantastic week last week. I hope you were able to accomplish some things for yourself, keep yourself in a very high mode, positive mode. And one of the things I talked about, if you had a chance to look at my last week conversation, it was to reach out to someone and show some kind words if you could. It's very, very important right now in the midst of this COVID, the stress of what's going on with the election, the after portion of the election. People are very, very hyped up. People are very, very strained at this point. So what I suggested last week was to reach out to friends and family, even people you didn't know, and take a different approach, even on your Facebook page, and throw out a lot of positive information. Be positive in what you're doing. So that's what I talked about last week. And I hope you took me up on that and actually did it, because it's very important. When you see all of these things that we're dealing with right now in terms of the negativity that's happening, either with the election, people not believing in the election, people believing in the election, whatever side of the fence that you're on, it's still very important that we, as our own individuals, process the fact that we want to engage in a positive way. I mean, that is the key to overcoming any sort of adversity or darkness. I mean, certainly there's the concept of meeting force with force, but it's not that I don't believe in that, but I think if you're going to do force with force, even with words, do it in a positive way. Now, we'll talk about more of how to be positive in a forceful way somewhere down the road, but I'm advocating that to you, to reach out. So that's what I talked about last week. Let's see, what else did we talk about? I want you to remember that every Tuesday at 1 o'clock I'll be coming on. The other thing too, for those of you who have questions, I have people that are now sending me in questions. I want you to go to your email and you do me an email. That way you can really get involved in it. Or you can do Messenger. You can reach me at compassxlsg@gmail.com. Do take me up on it. You know, no question is too big or no question is too small. And if I don't have an answer, because I'm not saying that I have an answer to every question that you may have, you know, as a counselor or as a life coach, sometimes it's not about having an answer. It's about helping you to explore and dig through the question that you're asking. And oftentimes you come up with the answer, and I just support you in that answer and actually lay down some foundations of how you can really proceed on that answer. So if you have any questions or anything you want to do like that, please feel free to contact me at compassxlsg@gmail.com. What else do I want to go through? These short times that I spend with you on Tuesday and Friday is really just a joke, I hope, of motivation. I'm going to talk about some things that I had some questions for people, so let me go over those. Some people were saying they want to think about career change, especially right now with what is happening with COVID. A lot of people are either working from home or not working at all. And so they're asking me questions in regards to how do you approach doing a career change in the middle of this? Well, a couple of things. First, I say, really take a look at what you have the most interest in, career-wise. I mean, really explore right now. What excites you or ignites you when you take a look at various careers? Then, if you have some funds saved, there's enough online courses going on right now that you can take that. Take that course in the evening. Use that time that you have instead of, feeling negative or being bombarded by the news. Use that time to either read. Let's say you can't take an online course. It's enough on Google right now on practically anything that you can immerse yourself in, and that can be the start of your career change. That can be the beginning of that career change. So right now it's about focus, and it's about exploring, and it's about re-engineering yourself. And hear that word. It's a word that's been around forever in the business circles, but it's about re-engineering yourself for the new you. I'm very much an advocate of that, and I've gone through several transitions in my career. Many of you may know that I went from one thing to another, and now I'm an actor, counselor, and a life coach. And it was my calling. I felt that. So I did the focus on it, and I did the exploratory work, and then I went to school, and then in the end COVID hit and we had to finish online. But and I will continue, because the skill set of learning to know how to work with people is an ongoing process. Some of it is natural, a lot of it can be academic. So I'm going to do both. So that's an example. So what I'm saying about exploring in the midst, to the person who sent me in that question about making a career change in the midst of COVID, because it seems like a horrible time to do that, it's actually the perfect time to do that. It is the perfect time to do that. So check that out. Another question that I had from a person who sent me an email was like, feeling confused within these times about what to believe on the television, what to believe, because there's so many things out there. Well, here's what I will say to you about that. First, do some meditation. Please do some meditations. If you do that meditation, and many of you may say, well, I don't know what meditation is. I don't have time to go into it, because my time here is just limited that I take, because I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time in case you're on lunch and you're eating your sandwich or you're eating your food and you just want to try and plug in with me for a few moments. But look it up. Do some meditation. Meditation is the key to allowing you to slow it down and push out that negative energy. Let's start with something very basic and simple instead of getting all complex with meditation. Sometime in your day, take 15 to 20 minutes, or even start with 5 in the beginning. I'm up to an hour to an hour and a half of meditation, but I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm saying to you, and it could be something as basic as going in a room. You know what? I first started when I was very young meditating, and I went in a closet, closed the closet up, because it was completely dark, and I just thought about all of the good stuff that I wanted to do, how I wanted to change me, and then I did my prayer, And then I asked to really raise me from the level that I was. That's basic meditation. You don't have to be some swami or some great guru to do that. So I would start with that, because feeling confused in these times is a very real deal. There's just a lot going on right now. There is a lot going on. So you have to start with you first. And with starting with you first, you have to take that practice at a certain time of the day. Make it as often as you possible. Seriously. If the first thing that I do in the morning, go straight to my meditation, because I just woke up. I'm fresh in the ethers. You know, when you sleep, you just come out of space. You relax. So I immediately go right into my meditation, because I don't have a lot of garbage coming through already. You know, when you start getting that garbage in, it's going to make it pretty tough to try and settle in a zone. So let that be the first thing. So if you got kids and you can't immediately do it because the kids are waking you up and so on and so forth like that, well, take a few moments before you shoot to that kid, even if it's just a short 5 minutes. If you hear them screaming, let them scream for 5 minutes. It's not going to kill them. Actually, it's going to strengthen their lungs. You may have a singer there. So just go into it for that minute, and then come out of it and go to that child that you're dealing with. And when you see them, you know, look at them with new eyes, because it's not about them screaming. It's about you just getting your meditation. They're like the beginning of your start of dealing with the rest of the world who are going to be screaming at you. So that's what I say to the individual that sent me that email that's saying, I'm feeling confused within these times, and how can you find some sensibility in that time? So meditation is the key. Then everything else will open up from that. I swear it will open up from that. But you got to do it. Do it almost the same time if you can, or do it 2 or 3 times. Or let's look at it like this. You need breakfast for your body. You need breakfast for your spirit. You need lunch for your stomach so that you can continue your workday. You need lunch for your spirit so that your body will be able to contain the strength of dealing with all of the things that your physical body can't handle, or that the physical body lets in, that are those kind of negative sources, because they sit in your body. They don't just go away. They're sitting there stored in your muscles. We had Dr. Davis talk about that, how you can get so much of this, and then you get this negative energy stored inside your muscle cells, and before you know it, you got cancer. That was a very good session. We're going to have her on, by the way. I'm going to segue off. She will be on in January, that I will do a webinar with her, free webinar, and I want to invite you all to it. Also, in order to stay in touch at what's going on with our webinars, please go to compassxlsg@gmail.com. Send me an email. Tell me you want to be on our newsletter. Tell me if you have any questions, any types of antidotes that you may have. Let me know there. But I will keep you aware of what's going on with the new year, because we got a tremendous calendars of some very, very interesting people that are going to help you enlighten yourself to be that new person for 2021. That is the key, because we may have had some tough times in 2020, but in 2021, if you've made it through the storm, which 2020 is a storm, if you have made it relatively with any kind of positiveness in your brain, or if you were negative within that 2020, that's okay, because it's almost like garbage in the body. You got it out of there. Get it out before the end of 2020. Flush it out. Take some whatever that stuff is that make you just flush your garbage out. Take something spiritually that will flush that garbage out, so you can be ready for 2021, because that can be your year. So that was a question for that. Another one was saying that I'm having trouble with my relationship. In fact, 2020 brought out the worst of my relationship, is what this young lady said. I won't give out any names, because it's always private when people put their confidence into me, when you send in your emails. Well, here's what I have to say about that. It's a good thing that you saw the worst in that individual. Now let's decide, or even in yourself. Let's get real. You might have sent the email in, and you might have been the one creating all of the problems. You know, you never know where people are coming from. Either the case, that's a good thing. The good thing is this. That's the good news. The good news is you saw the monster in yourself. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to blame it on the other person? Or are you going to be able to sit down and discuss with them about the reality of where you are and the reality of where you don't want to be for this coming year? In other words, are you willing to work on what it is that you're seeing is a bad relationship? By the way, I have on the Compass X site, I have a thing that talks about how do you recognize a bad relationship? How do you know when to get out of a bad relationship? And how do you deal with turning a bad relationship, if the tools are there and if the willingness is there from both of you, how you can work out of that garbage or how that dump into the mountain? Because for those of you who know me and those who will learn to know me over time, you will know that I don't necessarily feel, unless it's something tragic, that there is a failure. I just don't adhere to that philosophy. Failures to me are bricks that I pave and I plant them on top of each other and I step up, going higher to my next level of awareness and understanding and success if it's a business scenario that I'm dealing with. So I'm an advocate that every adversity has a positive result depending on the eye that you are viewing it in. So you, the individual, I'll just say it's you, the lady that sent me about this bad relationship. My finalization to you is to say, be real. Were you the culprit or were you the receiver of the problem that you were talking about? Then analyze whether this individual is worth it. But before you look at are they worth it, you look at are you worth it? Where's your self-esteem? Where's your strength? Where's your ability for contributing to this or letting it happen? Okay? That tells you something about yourself. I got to get real here. It tells you something about yourself. So do not settle when you feel like these kind of negative things are coming from your mate. You don't have to. There's always ways to do it. So that's what I say to that young lady that said sent me an emails a question about dealing with bad relationship. Parents. Okay, this is the last question that I had. This was from a parent that says she has a teenager. It looks like they're coming to the crossroad where one is going one way and she's trying to reach out. That's always a tough one because there's several things psychologically as well as just the nature of a teenager growing into themselves. They want to kind of depart from the parent. Here's the thing that here's what I suggest to a parent. And I've had 7 teenagers that I have either helped raise or was my own. And I had challenges in all of those. So I think to some degree, I'm an expert at this one. When the kid starts going that way, first of all, hopefully you will have built a real relationship. Now, this is tough. Hopefully you would have built a real relationship. What am I talking about when I say real relationship? Meaning that you talk to them like you talk to yourself. Now, that may be difficult because some of us haven't even grown strong enough to talk to ourselves real. But it's never too late Because if you want to continue a relationship with that 13, 12, 14, 15-year-old child of yours, or that young man or that young woman, you have to be real with them. Why am I saying that? Because they can go and look up on the internet anything that's real, and when you're talking like unreal, they're laughing in the back of their minds saying like, you don't know what's happening. But if you talk to them real, find a way to say it, to find a way to do it, then they will always have that open door in their hearts, buried in their mind, that I can go to mom, I can go to dad and talk straight up with them. Straight up. That's very important. Straight up. That's the key. They got to be able to feel I can come to you straight up. Why? Because you went to them straight up. You know, I'm accused sometimes with my wife of being like straight up hardcore right in the canyon, like shooting a rocket in there. You know what though? Let's be real. They're going to get that on the internet. They're going to hear it from their friends. So if a parent can be very close to the reality of things, it's the first opening and awakening of themselves for them to even start being real. They don't have to fake, okay? Faking is not the key, or when I say faking, I don't mean that in a harsh way. I'm saying that you're being soft because you feel like you don't want to talk that deep to your kid. I'm saying get rid of that. Get rid of that. And go from the heart, go straight from the mouth, and go straight. And if you feel, if something blows them away, you can ask them or you can apologize. But the end piece is that I love you. And if you are going to hear a reality perspective on the world, I want you to hear me first, because I'm the one that loves you the most. Some guy who says he does, or some lady that says she does, could just be for the moment, especially if you're 13, especially if you're 14. Most of the relationships that you have at that age don't even last past 6 months. And in the new generation that I'm seeing and carrying on, it lasts maybe a couple of months. So you got to be coming at them all the time so they can even be the identifier of those falsified things that these other things that are coming from all these individuals, the schools are coming at them. So anyway, that's from the parent perspective who sent me a letter that, hey, I'm having a teenager right now and it looks like we're growing apart. Well, you know, if you are not real, if you're listening to me today, and because I tell you to come and listen today or listen at the tapes, because I want to keep people feeling like I'm going to be connected to them visually. I will answer you on email, but I really want to do it this way because the questions you're asking really are questions for everybody. Everyone wants to know the same thing. They just think it's uniquely to them. No, it's not. There's several million people on this planet, and oftentimes we're all are in the same space, either at different times or at the same time. So that's why I come on once you send me that question, and I do it live here. That was the last question. Keep those questions coming through. Like I said, go to CompassX.LSG@gmail. Definitely do that. CompassX.LSG@gmail.com. Keep those questions coming in. When you send me that, the other reason for that, I put you on my newsletter, because we will have newsletters coming out every month with key things, key tips about various things, different types of foods, different foods that will be just very stimulating and tasteful and healthy for you. Other people send in different antidotes and I pass those on because I want this to be like the Compass X hub, the network of people who want to improve themselves in many ways. It's not just one thing that makes up an individual. I believe that the sum total of every successful person is a multiple of things, from parenting to good friends, to good food, to speaking out good words, and then you have just this longevity, this legacy of a very profound thing that you've done with the time and the space that you were placed in here on this planet. You got to be looking at that. And yes, I know some people will adhere to different thoughts of saying, hey, I want to get over on people. I want to use people. Yeah, that's real. That's out there. I'm not going to claim that we live in a panny-anny world. No, we do not. But I am saying that for those individuals, and I've talked to a lot of them that live in that space, the end result of almost 99.9% of those individuals that live in that space, when they come to some kind of close of the day, meaning maybe they're coming to the end of the journey, they're regretting like hell. They're apologizing like hell. They're calling up people, even when you listen to some of the gangsters and the killers who are getting ready to get executed. Man, they're spouting out quickly like, oh, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. So what I am saying to you is that why wait to the fourth quarter of your life to start doing that? Work whatever quarter you're in. First quarter as a young kid, coming up, or even a pre-quarter, I'm talking sports right now, then you're the coach, you're the parent that's coaching your individual to get them prepared for the game of life. And then when they hit the first quarter as a teenager, or even younger than that years up to a teenager, you've got some pretty sharp individuals in a very positive mode, and they're kicking ass. Yeah, I can say it. They are kicking ass. Why? Because they're living on the reality of realness that their parents have set them in the mode for. And they can spot these gamers, they can spot these fakers, they can spot them pretty quick. And if they decide to engage with them, it's only because they want to test the experience that you've placed in their computer banks so that they can test the skill that you've given them. And if they get, taken out for that moment, also the energy and the realness that you've given them, make them pop back fast. They don't lie in the water of despair forever because you've set them up for that success. So that's first, second, third, and by the time you reach the fourth quarter of your game, you have won all kinds of Super Bowls, you've won all kinds of NBAs, you've won all kinds of accolades. You have actually discovered yourself in new profound ways. I'm talking about me. I didn't know I was going to be an actor at the fourth quarter of my life. Are you serious? I didn't start off even dreaming of being an actor. Didn't. But all of these things that I'm telling you are the reality of the space and the time and the dimension that I've lived in. And since I've gotten out of the school and started this practice, I want to share these things with you because a lot of those things was just from the love and the reality. Yes, the reality that my parents, they didn't play no games. They were like real, okay? So that's why I do talk. My knowledge that I'm sharing with you, I hate saying teach because that's not the key, that I share with you is a multiple of academics, street, and parental. This is where I got my knowledge. So I'm sharing what I know has been profound. Okay, so as I close to today, I want to talk, there was one other thing, talking about dealing with the realities of Christmas. It's a very difficult time, not being able to get with the families. And we are being challenged not to get with the families. And I know a lot of people have not listened because a lot of people say, oh, this COVID deal is not real. Well, I'm not going to go there with you because that's everyone's personal belief. But what I will say to you that says it's not real is that if you want to risk yourself, if someone's standing with a gun in front of you and one says COVID, one says bullet, one says I don't believe it, one says AIDS, one says cancer, and that's the gun of life, okay? And then there's one that says you don't have to, there's an empty space in there, in that gun, because you don't even have to deal with that. Do you want to be out in front of somebody shooting those kind of bullets and hoping you get missed, or whether you get hit with one of those? I don't. So I'm saying, let's look at things a little bit deeper in life. Let's not look at you defying my rights. Okay? That's a very real deal. I get it. I get it. But what I'm saying is, do you want a chance that defining my rights is one of those bullets that you are going to get hit with and nothing will happen? Or do you want a chance that you may just get hit with that bullet of COVID and you can't come back? So what do? Don't even deal with it. Don't even deal with it. So anyway, I don't want to preach on that because that's not my deal. I don't have any problems about looking at the news. Even if I didn't believe it, I'd still say it may be 3% of that COVID out there. Do I still want to deal with the 3%? If they're saying it's 99% real and people are saying 370,000 people is a not real number, maybe there's 3 in there that really died. Do I want a chance crossing those 3? Hell no. That's all I'm saying to you. Some bit of practicality in the midst of everything. That's all I'm saying. Some type of practicality in the midst of all of the things that you may hear and may be coming through. And if you meditate, I guarantee you'll be clear on the fact of those things. Okay, so quick things. Some of these things are very real. Just why not create a time for your whole family on Zoom and everybody get together while they're eating? You may have food on one place, food at another place somewhere else. Do those kinds of creative things where you can still have that family thing. There is no need to feel like you cannot do that. If you were very heavy family oriented, still do it on Zoom. Why? Why not? Okay, that's another. Those of you who may not have that big of a family, and you may be some of the few that are left, then I would say reach out. Reach out. It goes back to reaching out. Reach out to someone on Skype. Reach out to me on Compass X. You know, I'll join you in. We can have 100 people on Compass X on our Zoom. Our personal Zoom, we can have 100 people. Reach out to me. And you can sit in with my family and eat. I'm serious. I'm not just talking. This is the real deal, people. We have got to be on the grind for change. Whether you are young, like Greta Thunberg, who was on the grind for social, the weather change and ecological change. She's on the grind. Somebody was in her head, deep on her. So that's what I'm saying. We have to be on the grind because I guarantee you this, those people who want to get over, want to be wealthy by any means, want to impress their negative so that they can take over your mind. They're out there. This is real. So you got to be equally powerful in the depth of your being so that you can combat this bull. Okay, I won't say that last part. So Zoom calls on Skype. Take me up if you want to on that. There's a lot of things on the compassx.org that you can go and look at. There's a lot of stuff for free there. So it's not just to go there to buy. It's to go there because I'm putting up lots of free information every day. I'm a little behind on my blog there. But definitely go. And also go to the YouTube page. You can see all of what I'm talking about today on YouTube. Do me a favor, please. Spread the word about compassx.org. Compass X Facebook. Really, you can not only help me, because I'll be real, you're helping me, but you can help others because the platform was set in place as a tool to navigate life. And it is the sum total of a lot of topics so that you could be addressed at whatever level you were at, whether you were looking at business. We're going to have some things up there about indie artists, how you can become an indie artist. If you're a parent that has a kid that you think is an indie artist, when things break open and we can get back into the mainstream of things, you'll be able to sort of self-guide your child or your friend or your neighbor. And I feel like I'm pretty good at that because I've managed several different artists to reach whatever level that they needed to go on. It wasn't always successful of getting that platinum, but it certainly was a foundation of helping them in other areas. So these tools are the sum total that makes up the total person. So go to compassx.org and look at that website and download all the free stuff. Download it, that's why I put it there. And then if you see some topics there, like a couple of my books, I have a book called 6 Steps That Paves the Way to Prosperity Equals the Peripherum Effect. And that one, that's my gold star. That's my legacy. That's a good one. And let's see what else. Another thing, I want you guys to take a look at seeking new, innovative online businesses. There are so many businesses. People have said, I forgot, this was in my question in one of the emails. Person said, I'm looking for a career, but I don't know where to begin. There are lots of things right now that you can even do at home. There's like Google that want people to do research. I don't have all of the information to give it to you now. There's different product companies. It is tough right now because even if you create a business, getting people to buy something could still be difficult. You're just trying to get through the gift buying right now. But there are companies that just utilize your at-home services, especially if you're qualified through some of those. You got to have certain security checks on some of those. But if you do, you could literally just be at home in the midst of COVID making money. A lot of people don't know that. So that's why we're here to try and provide you a ton of information that could help you navigate life. So that's pretty much it for me today. Remember, I come on every Tuesday. I've changed it from Monday to every Tuesday and Friday at 1 o'clock. And you can review all of the things that I've talked about on YouTube, on Compass X website, L.S.G. And I also post a lot of it on the Facebook. So please, please, please go on and like us on both of those platforms. I'll soon be doing TikTok because I met with my gentleman that supported me who has the agency. And I want to shout out to them, the Kika Agency, who's been very supportive in helping me to have the tools to move forward. So in having a sound strategy business perspective for marketing. So in any case, as always, at the end of all of my talks, I wish you love, peace, and follow the way. I'm Robay Hartnett from compassx.org, and I'm out of here. See you again.